Close your eyes.
Close my...
For a second.
A lot can happen to a play between the time it is conceived and when it hits the stage. For Andrew Johnston, who initially acted in Apple and is now directing it, the significant shifts came not in the script, but in his own life.
Between the time of the workshop and now, I have become a cancer survivor myself. So it sort of has an added dimension to me, and I feel like it's dealt with so honestly and reverently and poignantly. I find it a beautiful piece.
The play focuses on a couple whose marriage is falling apart. At the same time, the male character has lost his job and is considering having an affair. Things are further complicated when Kate Harriet's character receives a cancer diagnosis.
From what you said earlier, I take it it's spreading?
We don't know that. We have to...
Your educated guess.
Like Johnston, Harriet is all too familiar with the disease. Her mother is also a survivor.
Yes, you mentioned.
While she did talk to her about the character, Harriet didn't want to lean too heavily on that resource for inspiration.
I think some of it's hard for her to go back to. It's a scary place to think about the sort of person you were when you were struggling with something this big. But lots of survivor stories, even on YouTube. So that's been really inspirational to find out those stories and also learn what that might be like on the inside for this character.
Bringing that authenticity to the performance is important to all involved in Apple, which has meant some difficult times during rehearsal.
After we go through a scene, if all of us have been crying, it's not like we have to just drag ourselves off the floor and work harder. We all kind of talk about the scene, we talk about how it's going, and so I'm really excited to share such an emotional piece with an audience and hope that they can have a bit of that journey with us.
It is an emotional roller coaster. You go along for the ride, but it's so satisfying at the end of it, at the end of the day. And these guys are working so hard and have given so much to the piece and allowed themselves to be so vulnerable and open to the piece. I think that's quite a remarkable feat in of itself.
Yeah, rehearsals have been full of Kleenex.
But Johnston says not all of the tears come from a place of sadness. He believes the story is less about heartbreak and disease than about how two people who love each other can overcome obstacles together.
I'm really interested in the idea of the redemptive power of love, and I think that's the overarching concept behind the piece, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Apple plays at the Refinery through November 13th. In Saskatoon, I'm Simon Hyatt reporting.